Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the newest episode of Music Theory Mondays. Thank you for joining me. Today we're going to be taking a look at diminished chords as kind of a part two. There is an older video with diminished chords a few months back, but we're going to be taking a look at diminished chords from the perspective of songs that use them and why they're used in those songs. All right, here we go. Start out with the Megadeth song Hangar 18. Okay, now I'm going to be doing all this on piano. So Hangar 18 starts out with a D minor chord, and then it goes to a B flat chord with a D in the bass. All right, and then it's going to go to the B diminished chord with a D in the bass, and then it's going to go to a C chord with a D in the bass. All right, so all together. All right, now the progression is in D minor, and as you notice, the bass never changed from the D. So we're pedaling on D while we're in D minor. The chords being D minor, which is the 1, B flat, which is the 6, and then that third chord is the one we're here for. That's the B diminished chord. Now the reason why this chord exists in this progression, it's basically a passing chord, right? It's taking the theme of D in the D minor chord, which is DFA, and when we go to the B flat chord, all we have to do is change the A to B flat. It's the only note that's different. And then from there, we're just going to change the B flat to B. Okay, and then we get our diminished chord. So it's acting as a kind of a stepping stone between the B flat over D and the C over D. And what makes it so cool is that obviously the diminished chord is a little bit unstable, so it's adding excitement to the progression, but it's also adding an ascension from the A to the B flat to the D to the C. So we have a pretty basic chord progression in D minor with pedal D in the bass, and we're just going through the 6th chord, and then we're throwing in the diminished as a passing chord, not in the key of D minor, and then we're ending on that C, which is the 7 chord in D minor with a D in the bass. So that B diminished chord is giving you a sense of movement and connectivity between the chords of the progression. It's not part of the key, but it works really well, and it allows that melody note to climb 4 different places. Really cool stuff. So that's Hangar 18 by Megadeth. All right, now we're going to take a look at a song by Dream Theater. It's called Fatal Tragedy. And I'm only going to do 2 chords for this one. We're in the key of E minor, and it starts out like E minor to E diminished. All right? And that's all the progression I'm going to cover. The reason I'm bringing this one up is because most of the time those diminished chords will be stepping stones, either chromatically down or chromatically up. The chords don't have to be part of the key you're in, but they link the parts of the chords and the progression together to make it more interesting. What we're doing here is a little bit different. We're in the key of E minor, riding on that E minor, and then to offer a little bit of variance, we're just going to change that E minor to an E diminished, which just makes the B a B flat, just dropping that 5 by a half step. And what you get there is a dance between 2 chords that both start on E. There's only 1 note different. It works really well. It creates tension and anticipation of what's going to come next. All right, so that's Dream Theater's Fatal Tragedy. All right, next we're going to take a look at a song by Billie Eilish. Not a particularly big fan here, but we've got the song called When the Party's Over, and she's doing an A chord to a B7. All right, so we're obviously in the key of E, because the A would be the 4, and the B7 would be the 5, the dominant 5. What she does here, though, she throws in an A sharp diminished, which I'd rather think of that, even though you have to spell it as an A sharp to make sense with the spelling of the A into the B, I'd like to think of that as a B flat diminished, and just play a B flat chord, drop down the 3, drop down the 5, and you get yourself your A sharp diminished. So we're going. So here we go. We have A to the A sharp diminished to the B7. And what's really cool about that is when you're going from the A to the A sharp, you don't even have to move the 3 or the 5. It's already in place, right? You just have to move that bass note and root note up to the A sharp. So you have Billie Eilish, When the Party's Over. Again, that one, just another example of a segue between two different chords, offering tension, movement, anticipation. These diminished chords, they're unique because on their own, they're kind of ugly. They kind of stand out as being kind of awkward, but infused in the right situations, and they sound great. Next, we're going to take a look at Benny and the Jets by Elton John, and we're going to be doing the key of G. All right, we're going to go from a G to an A minor, so a 1 to a 2, but we're going to use the G sharp diminished chord as the segue between the two. So here we go. G diminished, A minor. G sharp diminished, A minor. Again, just another segue chord, going from G to A, throwing in the G sharp, making it diminished, adding tension. All right, then we have, this one's kind of cool, the band Smash Mouth, the song All Star. We have an F sharp to a B to a C diminished back to a B. All right, so here we're doing F sharp to B, and then instead of using the diminished chord as a rung between, say, the first chord and the third chord, we're actually using it as like a jumping off point. We're going to play that B chord first, and then we're going to play the C diminished, but we're not going to go up to D or C sharp. We're coming right back down to B. B, C diminished, and then right back to the B. All right, so that one's a little bit different. It's still adding tension and movement, but we're not moving upwards in ascending fashion. We're going up and then back. So that's kind of a cool example. All right, the last one we're going to look at is another Elton John, Your Song, great tune, starting off with a C minor, and then it's going to go C minor 7 with a B flat in the bass. So we're descending in the bass here in the key of C minor. Our target note here, our target chord, is to end the progression on an A flat, which is the 6th chord in C minor, but because this is all about infusing diminished chords, we're going to throw in an A diminished between the C minor 7 over B and the A flat. So I'm going to play it without the diminished first. So we have the C minor 7 over B flat, and then we'll just throw in the A flat. All right, so that sounds good. All right, now we're going to throw in the diminished, the the A diminished. So here's C minor. There's your C minor 7 over B flat. And then here's your A. And then your A flat. That one's a nice one. I like the 5. C minor is a great key. You know, having that descending bass line, C, B flat, A as the diminished chord, and then finally resolving to the A flat. Sounds great without the diminished, but sounds better with the diminished. So I think the argument is diminished chords are amazing, all right? So things to keep in mind. Diminished chords on their own, you know, they sound awkward and out of place. They get a very weird position within the scale. What's really cool about using these diminished chords is that you don't have to use the diminished chord of the key that you're in. You can use any diminished chord you want. It's more about the movement of the chords at the time than it is about what key you're in. So the diminished chord is a free agent. You can throw it in when you can, as often as you want. It's a segue chord, whether you're moving up the scale or down the scale, the progression, whatever you want to call it. And they sound great, as you can see. So anybody has any songs that they know that use diminished chords, please leave them in the comments below. I'd love to check them out. As always, guys, thanks for watching.